that the election is just around the corner, what do you think are the issues that will decide the next government?
So I think the issues that should be there and would be there are the issues relating to unemployment, the crisis in the farming sector, the whole issue of communalism and lynch mobs and the kind of hate and fake news that is being spread by this Modi government and its cohorts, and of course the issue of corruption, which is an endemic problem, and in which this government, quite apart from indulging in corruption in mega deals like Rafale, or the manner in which Nirav Modi or Mehul Choksi, etc., have been allowed to loot and flee the country, it's also the manner in which our anti-corruption institutions and laws are being destroyed. The Prevention of Corruption Act has been destroyed by adding a provision about requirement of government's permission for investigation. The citizens whistleblower law that has not been implemented by not notifying it. The Lokpal was not appointed for 5 years. After that, Lokpal has been appointed in a very, very dubious manner by excluding the leader of opposition without any transparency, by appointing their own man as the so-called eminent jurist in the selection panel, etc. The CBI, the CVC, all anti-corruption institutions are being destroyed. So that is also a big issue. But of course, primarily it's the issue of jobs and the farmers' crisis, which are the most important issues. And communalism. These are the three most important issues because jobs are affecting everybody, particularly the youth. The farmers' crisis is affecting every farmer in the country. And communalism is also affecting especially our minorities and Dalits, etc. It is very seriously affecting them. It has created a huge insecurity, especially in the minds of minorities in this country.
And could you elaborate a little more on the Lokpal?
The manner in which the Lokpal has been appointed. So we have been asking for the last 5 years to appoint a Lokpal. This government kept stalling on the ground that they need to amend the Lokpal Act by making the leader of the largest opposition party the leader of opposition so that he could be in the selection panel. That could have been done by an ordinance within a day, but they wasted 5 years over it, and eventually they still didn't do it, with the result that they went ahead with the appointment even without the leader of opposition in the selection panel. Then they did not have any transparency. We had been asking at least disclose the names of the shortlisted candidates, and they have appointed not very desirable people eventually through this process. So therefore, it's a very serious problem.
In these 5 years, how would you rate BJP's performance? And if BJP comes to power again, what is the threat we fear?
Well, I think their performance has been abysmal, quite apart from not doing anything on the economic front, not doing anything on to alleviate the farmers' crisis, not doing anything to arrest corruption, etc. They have promoted a culture of just thuggery, violence, hatred against minorities, etc. So today, it's not merely the institutions which are being destroyed, it's not merely democracy which is in danger, it is really civilization which is in danger because of the kind of, they have made lynch mobs on the streets, they have made lynch mobs on the social media also, and that lynch mob is controlled by no less a person than the Prime Minister himself. So if they come back to power, we can say goodbye to democracy in this country. We can say goodbye to even civilization in this country.
Well, just the other day, another MP had said that Modi comes back to power, we won't need elections and we won't have Sakshi Maharaj evidence.
Yes. I mean, if they come back to power, they can do anything. They can fiddle with the basic structure of the constitution. They have already destroyed most of our institutions, including they have made a serious assault on the judiciary. And all the other institutions, even the CAG is no longer regarded to be independent. The CVC, the CEC Election Commission is not regarded as independent anymore. It's the first time that this is happening in more than 30 years.
Could you elaborate a little more on the judiciary and the troubles it faces or it has faced under the Modi government?
So the judiciary, they are not appointing judges who are recommended from the minority communities, and they are now using another device to influence the judiciary. Of course, post-retirement jobs and the lure of post-retirement jobs was always a way of influencing judges. But now this government has invented a new way, which is to use the agencies, the CBI, the income tax and the ED, etc., to find something by which they can blackmail judges. This is also happening.
What has been the track record of this government on especially human rights cases?
They have had a terrible track record. In fact, the Yogi Adityanath government has been openly suggesting to police officers to go and kill anybody that they please in the name of fake encounters on the alleged ground that they are criminals. And most of the people who have been killed or shot are members of the minority communities and very poor people.
Also NRC.
Even on the NRC, the manner in which 40 lakh people have been excluded from the NRC, the manner in which they are detaining and keeping under detention persons who are alleged to be foreigners for 5-6 years in a row, all this shows very, very poorly about the human sensitivity to human rights of this government.
How do you think BJP can be defeated, and what do you think can be done in this era of WhatsApp elections?
So I think the BJP can be defeated by pointing out, because they are trying to fight the election on this nationalism agenda.
Yes.
By using this Poll-Vani and Balakot, etc. We should point out firstly that this Poll-Vani happened because of the negligence of this very government. They had intelligence about this attack 5 days before the attack. They allowed a convoy of 2,700 to go on when the rules allowed only 500. They didn't give permission to BSF and CRPF to transport their Jawans by air. So therefore they should be held accountable for this. On the other hand, they are seeking to use this to build a nationalist agenda, when true nationalism is really to promote a nation which is inclusive, where there is great diversity. This BJP is trying to attack everyone who preaches diversity, who wants harmony, communal harmony, to be anti-nationalist. I mean, a party which is wanting to destroy the unity of the country by creating hatred among different communities professing different religions. They profess themselves to be nationalists when they are the most anti-national of all.
The BJP poll plank says that there is no other alternative. They are trying to again point out that Modi is the only man, and how can that also be countered? They are hoping to bank on the image of Modi. How can that be countered?
So that can be countered by pointing out that Modi has done nothing except to destroy the country, and therefore you can't want to just get a man again re-elected who has destroyed the country merely because he has got tremendous publicity and exposure, which other opposition leaders have not got. So therefore, for the BJP to say what is the alternative, they said this in 2004 also, but they still lost.